Chapter 31. The understanding gained through the reading this material, especially those that have contemplated and pondered it for the specific purpose of feeling if there is a resonance with the truth present, has changed each person's perspective. Knowledge once gained changes the reality through which the life process is viewed and contemplated. When the purposefully focused mind clutter is observed with the discernment of its intended design, the perception of current reality is different. Even if the observer chooses to ignore the truth that was considered as a possibility, the ability to blend again into the sleeping masses can never be accomplished. It remains in the background, and circumstances and events will continue to trigger the awareness of the truth. In this way the seeds of change are planted and will begin at some point to grow and bear fruit. Those who reject the information before considering it at all will find the choice will be offered again before the project of the new paradigm is complete. The message carriers must understand that even though many will reject the information, making the contact invokes the opportunity of a future choice. In the case of those desiring this information to be accepted by family and friends to whom there are emotional attachments, this should be a comfort. The second offering will usually be through another messenger, and is more likely to be accepted for two reasons. First, it has been heard before, and it is easier to accept on a logical level that does not have emotional triggers involved. In this way each may be prepared for possible rejection, but will also know that even when that happens, a contact link is established. The gift is given whether it is accepted immediately or at a later time. If not accepted at all, then the difficult lesson of allowance is to be remembered, for each has their free will choice. There is also the possibility that as the scenario evolves, these skeptics may seek out the information. The focus of intent through blessing the individuals, for their highest and best good, or a similar invocation carries the energy of the creative flow of expansion. The expansiveness of this energy has created galaxies, solar systems, planets, and beings becoming to appreciate the process. This energy is as powerful as it is subtle. The more relaxed and knowing the intender, the more potent the result. As the messages are circulated, accepted, and contemplated, the law of attraction begins to draw and attract more people of like beliefs. Those who are awake are beginning to realize that there is little information that goes the essential step further to suggest a true solution to the situation. Certain survival preparations are necessary, but these do not offer resolution. This awareness is magnetic and invokes an answer to the question of, what can we do? The viable answer that provides a cure and not just symptom relief is found within these messages. The way in which other suggestions for resolving the situation at hand may be measured is to consider whether they offer a cure or merely symptom relief. As with a disease of the human body, a symptom seldom indicates the entire cause of the problem. The symptoms now affecting the whole of the human population and the planet are so numerous as to make an overview difficult. Few have the time, or have the tenacity to come to a clear conclusion on their own. They depend on the media and other controlled opinion givers for their picture of the larger reality because it is purposely available for easy access. It is psychologically written to present only facets of situations and events so as to deceive the listener, observer, and encourage the unconscious cooperation needed to complete the preparations for enslavement one cautious step at a time. As the time draws near, the puppet leaders become more impatient and careless, yet the masses still do not hear or see. Know that this also serves the implementation of the new paradigm project. Be patient and lay the foundation blocks steadily and with purposeful resolve. Join in small groups of like awareness and contemplate the wording of the purpose, pass the messages and know this is the process of thought thinking within the universal laws. The desire for this new experience is already attracting its energetic format. Trust the process. This project has the blessing of the planet and its inhabitants as a whole as its purposeful intent. That is a major plus for the insurance of its success. It does require purposeful resolve. Hang in there and do all that is necessary with passion and zeal. Contemplate standing on the first stone outside the downward spiral, knowing the possibilities available when there are moments of discouragement. Smile, you are on the willing and winning team. Chapter 32. As these messages are distributed and the number of people reading and assimilating the knowledge contained within them increases, the natural flow of the law of attraction allows the gradual increase of their magnetic appeal to bring more and more people to grasp the logical understandings offered by them. The wave of discontent and frustration that is rising within the mass consciousness is developing. A viable solution that does not require the sacrifice of the human body to accomplish the desired reversal of the situation surrounding the whole of the mass consciousness, is applying pressure and bringing this to a moment that serves as the impetus for the birth of the new paradigm. It is appropriate to caution the team to remember that divine order does not necessarily appear to operate in a sequential mode. It does require a simplistic definition of form, holographic in nature, and completes the necessary process in a variety of ways. The key to completing this within the slower vibrational dimensions is holding the focus of the definition of form within the mind's eye for the long duration needed to allow the manifestation into observable reality. A critical number of foci holding this intention in place are needed, for each can or will do so for only a short period at time. Thus, if enough do this often enough and long enough, then the image is in continuous focus. This is the process of thought thinking at the level of necessity within the lower vibrational levels of what is called the third dimension, or lowest dimension of human existence. It is the most difficult to transcend because the slow vibratory rate, at best, requires the focus to be held for manifestation to materialize. The lower the scale of the vibratory rates, the longer the sequence and the more difficult it is for the mind to concentrate. The power of the competition of the planted clutter in the minds of humanity at the moment adds another ingredient to this already difficult situation. It is thought that the lid is tightly shut and that it is impossible for the critical number of humanity to detect the net of deception, organize and transcend through the carefully laid trap into freedom. That, in a nutshell, is the challenge. Can this, Miss Zion impossible, be accomplished? Is it possible for this sleeping giant to awaken, shake off the administered sedatives and arise into sufficient awareness to make the choices necessary? The ability to do so is present. The opportunity is now, for it will be a long time with much suffering before another will be available. It is said that mankind will give up luxury and all other manner of things and experience before he will give up the suffering that has been his lot for so long. Your Christian religion teaches that suffering is holy and a bridge to the heavenly experience in the next lifetime by a loving God. Is this in any sense logical? Each deception individually and the collective whole of them are incomprehensible to your cosmic brethren in that they defy logic. The whole of creation is logical. Logic is a wondrous balancing mechanism. The whole of the mass belief system for Earth's inhabitants is so distorted through exploitation of the emotions that what is universal logic appears to be illogical and difficult to believe. In order for the new paradigm project to succeed, the messengers must digest the messages within the totality of their awareness and allow them to percolate through and to change their perception of not only who and what they are, but how they perceive creation. It will be necessary to allow the magnitude of misconception to resolve into a new basic perception and conception of the holographic, cooperating, interacting wholeness that focused them into being and holds them there in the freedom of free will choice. Bondage is not the heritage of choice. It is giving up the basic framework of creation through the free will choice of victim experience that has allowed this situation to regress to its present level. This is an opportunity to bring it to an end, and to progress into knowing again who you are and doing what you were designed to do. It is time to give up suffering and experience joy, bliss, and ecstasy as the realities they are, not as fleeting moments or mythical goals for saints only. The ideal is neither abused children nor menacing warriors, but free fulfilled adults at home in a galactic world of adventure. Your lovingly concerned brethren offer here their proffered advice and promise of greater assistance if you but help yourselves first, as citizenship within creation requires. It is hoped that each reader will ponder and consider the alternatives and choose wisely. It is hoped that those who embrace the premise of these concepts grasp the dimensions for change that are available through the acceptance and incorporation of these suggestions. It is the incorporation of conceptual changes at individual and various inclusive group levels leading to global awareness that allows for the holographic requisite to be met. As the individual participates within the process, the consciousness transcends from personal experience expansively through groups arriving at the global dimension. Each and all then stand on a new platform to contemplate galactic experience. Through visualizing the expansion inherent in the sequence of necessary steps, it is possible to comprehend a multidimensional process ongoing within a singular focused goal. Once this is experienced into wisdom, then it is available to be experienced in other situations for varied appropriate applications. It is relevant to point out that the process is best learned before attempting to apply it in other situations. Rather like stringing pearls for a necklace, it is best to focus on one pearl at a time. In this case, the pearl of the moment is the new paradigm. It is what must be held in focus, all else will then follow in due time. It cannot be stressed enough that scattering the focus was not the intent of this greater understanding. Stay focused on creating the new paradigm, then the joy of experimenting with this process will be splendid indeed. It is then that the focus shared between galactic family members will stand forth as intended. Chapter 33. Within the experience of the chaos that lies in the near future, the allowance of the experience will be a difficult hurdle for those that intend to focus the new paradigm through its initial stages of inception and birth it into manifestation. There will be difficult and discouraging moments for those who accept this mission, especially if there are no close companions to share the focus and encourage each other. Holding chosen simple symbols clearly in mind and drawing or seeing them displayed as frequent reminders will assist in holding the necessary focus. The symbols bring the focus to mind without the conscious effort of first identifying the focus and then convincing the intellect of its truth when the surrounding situation contradicts its rationality. The symbols are what might be called a quick fix. Frequent reference to them on a continuing basis and allowing an emotional feeling to arise in anticipation of the coming new experience will bring immeasurable focused energy to the manifestation. When this simple exercise is practiced with the discernment of its meaning in innumerable places on the planet in a continuous format, the manifestation is assured. If each time the symbol is focused upon, it is perceived as a flash of light or an electrical charge, the planet can be envisioned as literally lighting up with this new perception. This is an apt analogy and allows for consideration of the power held within the simplicity of redirecting purposeful intention through placing the attention on what is desired rather than what appears to be happening. It changes the control point from the observed to the observer that allows for empowerment of the individual observers. It further demonstrates the power of cooperation through unified commitment to a common goal. The fact that the goal is not defined in detail implies the process for the details do not dilute or scatter the focus. This project transcends merely identifying the problems and attempting to fix the symptoms, for this in reality only adds to the problem as a whole. It provides the opportunity of experiencing aspects of the new paradigm as it is being created. The parameters of the current pattern of life expression now being experienced must begin to shift in order for the new paradigm to be conceived and birthed into manifested reality. New parameters have been enumerated throughout these messages so that they might begin to filter into the minds of those reading, contemplating, and discussing these concepts. The limited thinking of Earth's inhabitants must change to allow for the flow of thought to move through their conscious awareness on a continuing basis. To simply exchange one box of concepts for a new box of concepts will not allow for participation within the flow of creation. This is not to say that the flow of conceptual thought does not proceed in an orderly fashion, for otherwise the flow would be experienced as continuous chaos, and that is not a flow. Indeed, periods of what might be termed chaos are experienced while letting go of one set of truths and accepting another that delineates the next set of experiences in the search for greater wisdom. How much chaos is experienced depends on how long the old set is retained before the necessity is to move on brings a breakthrough. If an openness to perceive and accept seemingly new concepts of truth is practiced, then the process proceeds with greater smoothness. It is relevant to point out that the process is best learned before attempting to apply it in other situations. Rather like stringing pearls for a necklace, it is best to focus on one pearl at a time. In this case, the pearl of the moment is the new paradigm. It is what must be held in focus, all else will then follow in due time. It cannot be stressed enough that scattering the focus was not the intent of this greater understanding. Stay focused on creating the new paradigm, then the joy of experimenting with this process will be splendid indeed. It is then that the focus shared between galactic family members will stand forth as intended. End chapter 33.